Hello, welcome to Deltascope on television. Deltascope is a program designed to meet with aspirants and candidates vying for political positions in Delta State. The program tends to extract from our guests, the candidate, the aspirant, their manifestos and the way forward in fulfilling their promises to their constituents when and if eventually voted to represent them. My name is Onome Iyarowe. On behalf of the crew, as a welcome on board this episode of Deltascope. On this episode of the program, we'll be featuring a gentleman, a trained political scientist, and a public administrator. One who has served the government in various capacities, ranging from the grassroots at the councillorship level and local government level, and of course to the state level. Who is this man? He is Honourable Chief AJIRIOGHENE Ferguson Onwo. He is wanting to represent the people of Isoko South Constituency II at the Delta State House of Assembly. We met with him, or the crew of Deltascope met with him, and got so much you will need to find out in the special episode with our aspirant, the candidate, our guest on Deltascope. Honourable Chief AJIRIOGHENE Ferguson.
This is Deltascope, where we talk to the stakeholders, political and socio-economic stakeholders of Delta State. And today we're going to talk to Honourable Chief AJIRIOGHENE Ferguson Onwo. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. So welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, sir. So
Thank
tell
you.
us about you, sir.
Just in brief, I'm Ferguson Onwo. I'm from Olomoro, Isoko South local government. I'm the PDP candidate for the Delta State House of Assembly election on Saturday.
So good. When I say terrible, I mean you've been in. I would say you are a trained politician. Am I correct? Yeah. I mean you studied political science first, then you went ahead to do political science and public administration. Yeah. So from the theories, from the theory part of it, you've been trained. Yeah. Then you went ahead and became a councillor, where you became the speaker of the council of Isoko South local government. So you're now in practice. If I say, yeah, I mean, that's the word. You're now in practice. And then you became the chairman. And from then, Chief Ibori saw you worthy to make you an special assistant on youth development. Yeah. And after that, I wouldn't say handed you over to Uduaga, but he became an SSA to Uduaga on NDDC matters. Yeah. Okay. Tell us about those experiences.
Oh, well, it's been nice. It's been nice. It's been nice looking at it politically. Just like you said, I've been around politically for a while. In fact, since I left UI, University of Ibadan, I've not done anything else other than playing politics. So in and out of government since 1991, I've been in politics, and it's been a very, very tremendous experience.
Yes, okay. You were also a politician in school.
Oh yes.
Yes,
oh,
national,
yes.
National, the president of National Isoko National
Union of Isoko Students.
Okay. Okay. So okay, go ahead.
I was.
Okay.
I was also a member of the Student Executive Council in University of Ibadan.
Okay. So all those training, all those school trainings, you know, from master's degree to campus politics, you know, to becoming a councillor, how has that affected your practical politicking? Let me say the word politicking. I mean, you went to school, you did the theoretical ones. Now, how did that training affect your practical work as a party politician?
Yes, positively to a large extent, because in everything I do, I try to add a little of politics contribute to it, except my religious background. But other than that, I add politics to a lot of things that I do. Just like I said before, since after school, I've not done anything else. So I've been in this terrain for a long time. And because of the kind of offices I've held, I try as much as I can to be politically inclined when I take decisions and when I carry people along. Fortunately, unfortunately for us, the training did not isolate us as the only people who could play politics. The Nigerian political terrain, anybody could just come and become a politician. Any retiree retired from Shell is politics. If you win lottery, you're a politician. Anything you do, you're a politician. So that did not isolate us and say, okay, well, you are a trained politician like the Army or Navy. 1991 you joined, therefore you must be a general by now. It's not like that. So we have people coming in between and taking better positions in politics than us who have been trained and have been following it from the beginning. And yes, here we are.
So you're a trained politician. You've been in politics since 1991 till now. What would you say your community has benefited from you?
Oh yes, a lot. My community has benefited a lot. Because what we used to do in the times of SDP, you try to leave a footprint in every office you've held. So in 1991, as I got into office as councillor and speaker of the local government, we did what we used to do then. We try and make sure that roads are motorable at a particular time. So the first thing we did when we got into office, we filled all the roads and graded them, which was remarkable then, so that people can have access to go to their farms and go to their fish ponds and whatever they do. After which, we now constructed culverts in places so we can drain water away from the roads. We did all that. Then also, we did markets. So at far back 1991, I've already established certain things in the community. Of course, thereafter, I became council chairman. I also built the garage in this community. I'm talking of this community as a case. I'm not generalizing what I did for other communities, but you said my community. Then, of course, all the road networks you see in this community, I have a hand in them. So my community have benefited in my political career.
Okay. I'm also told that I was also told that you had some scholarship scheme.
Oh yes, I did that some time ago in 2014 and 2015 when we're campaigning for same office. 2014 years. We always done the empowerment program. Part of it was the scholarship program. We also did medical retreats then in 2015.
And you refurbished the younger market. Was it you?
Oh, yes, I did that when I was council chairman. I did that when I was council chairman in 2001 to 2003. That's where we did that project. Yeah.
Okay, so this is not the first time you are going for this offers. The last time, would you say you failed or you lost or you gave out?
Oh, well, it depends on how well you look at it, but what really happened was a coalition issue where I won closely because two communities were cancelled. But because then people were around my campaign organization were so excited that, of course, if we go for a run, I will win. So everybody left the coalition center. It was thereafter one of the results that was cancelled was added to it, and so there was two declarations same day. That's what we took to tribunal and the Court of Appeal. But unfortunately for us, we didn't get it at that point.
This time around, what's going to happen this time around?
Yes, this time around, by God's grace, we'll win. We're following it up the way, of course, we won't do mistakes this time again. We'll follow it up, in bits, and by God's grace, we'll be there. Then it was APC, so I was swimming against the tide. But now in PDP. Delta State is a PDP state. So by God's grace, we'll be there.
Why is Delta State a PDP state?
Because we've been lucky that we've not been out of PDP at that level of the governorship for once. And the governor has tremendous, value, in governance. Once you're a governor, you can do a lot of things. So people are kind of say where the governor is, that's where we are. So we've had it so fortunate in Delta that since 1999, it's always been a PDP governor for Delta State.
Let me rephrase the question. Is is Delta State PDP because the governor is PDP? So is it a question of wherever the head goes, that's where the whole body goes?
You are not going to be able to separate that, because as it is, the governor is the leader of the party, of whichever party that is in government in that state. So if you say the governor of Delta State is PDP, it therefore means that is a PDP state. And when you talk in terms of the downline, you have a structure. The governor has a structure, both in the party and in government. So that when you continue to have a structure like that, as the governor is leaving, he's giving the structure to the next person who's coming after him. So it's very difficult to say this is not a PDP state.
Okay, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Hey, welcome to Delta. Governor, where they want.
Hi, my name is Fretless, and I live in Asaba, capital city of Delta State. As an entertainer, my job entails a lot of movement from one place to the other, and also to be at the right place at the right time, meaning that I need good roads to be able to meet up with work or appointments. And with the new government reform on construction and rehabilitation of all major and feeder roads in the state as part of a smart agenda, it has become so easy for me to move around at all times. Now, I just cruise from street to street, city to city, all over the state. And even apart from the roads as I move along daily, I see magnificent projects everywhere. Check out this one in Warri and several other places. Wow. Governor Okowa is indeed a man with a vision. Thanks to his transformation ingenuity in just 4 years of an administrative journey. Imagine another 4 years.
Correct with Okowa. PDP. All the people. Everybody make we testify.
Okowa should be preparing for the next swearing in. Okowa, you're a lucky man. You have done well. I will continue to be a friend because you're a good man. I've never seen a gentleman like this. All I can assure you, and I want to say, having associated myself with Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, I know that it's somebody that you can depend on. It's somebody you can go home and sleep with your 2 eyes closed.
Vote Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa as Governor, Delta State. Vote PDP.
This message is brought to you by Chief Patrick Uka, the Akatakwenyi one of Okpanam Kingdom.
Yes, sir. We're talking about the state, why the state will stay with PDP. And you said because the governor is a leader, that everybody, is that enough? Because we had states where even the Cubans, they're in different party, and over time they changed. How come we not be able to change from PDP?
Okay, yes, like I said, we've been lucky with governors remaining in PDP governor and the structure. The other part of it is that we've also been lucky that the governors that we've had in PDP have always performed. Chief Onanefe Ibori set the ball rolling. He did very well. And the things he did are enduring, sustainable, and we see them. So people PDP leverage on that to get another governor into office. And so it has been like that. To where we are now, testimony of what Governor Okowa is doing.
What is Okowa doing? I dare to ask that question.
Yes.
What is Okowa doing?
Okowa is doing very well, especially in terms of human capital development. Then 2, infrastructural development 2. What he's doing is likened to an infrastructure revolution, because it's not facing, this is ICA, therefore I'm developing ICA, or this is Central, no. What he's doing in Agbo, you can also see it in Isoko. You will see it in Warri. You will see it in all the places at the same time. So he's doing very well. The governor has commissioned about 8 roads the last 2 weeks in Isoko. So he is doing very well in terms of infrastructure too. But above all, the kind of thing he has done with appointment, no governor has done that. He's practically done almost what is likened to an appointment per unit. Because you see nearly every ward has about 5, 6 appointees. So that's putting food on people's table. It's very remarkable.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, let's come back to you, an Isoko man, an Isoko leader. Over time, some time now, Isoko cannot really say we've had leaders. You know, apart from the times of Chief Otobo, Chief Wuseba, and Chief Igbude. Not the speaker, the first Igbude.
He was a minister.
Yeah, was a minister. Then after that we had Obozo. No, those were the Isoko leaders. Who are the Isoko leaders today?
Okay, you see, then what you are saying now, a lot of people have that kind of view. But again, is against the backdrop that there is no comparison. The time there was Otobo, the time there was Agbaza, the time there was Igbude, there was nobody they were comparing them to. So there came the second set of leaders, with the Igbude, the speaker, Solomon Ogba, and all those other people. In terms of those who had appointments, but in terms of those who don't have appointment, who are leaders traditionally by age or status, then you can talk of people like Dr. Abel Ubeku, the Omus, the Uredis. Those are leaders in terms of age and status in society. But in terms of leaders who are in government, we also have people like that who have performed. Like Solomon Ogba now, also the same thing with those people, that level of, what do you call it, Otobo, in terms of sports endowments. You see that virtually every local government have a stadia in this state. Every local government have a mini stadium in this state. And if you look at the profile of Delta State in sports, have risen. Every sports festival is a win-win. So you see, Isoko leaders have really performed. But if you are comparing them to those people who were there in the beginning, who had no what do you call it?
Linear reflection.
Yes. Then you could say, have that view that Isoko leaders. But of course, we have in our place there. But voice, the voice of Isoko. You know, Isoko, in terms of wealth, we've not been able to harness our wealth.
That's what you call me.
Especially the one concerning oil.
Okay, sir. Now, so why do you... I'm an Isoko man. I'm not on a constituency, unfortunately. So my vote will go to the other side. But I mean, still Isoko Wavo, like they say. Now, why are you contesting for this? What do you have to give?
Well, by my background, I've always had a penchant for representing my people. So as early as 1991, like I told you, the community was AD before. I came in through SDP and won the election. Since then, I've spoken on behalf of my people. So the people see me as somebody who could represent them. You know, I was APC candidate in the last election in 2015. Now I'm PDP candidate. It therefore means that in both parties, I was popular. So my people have some trust, element of trust to say, if he goes there, he can represent our interests. And like I had started, I have love for the representation, for the legislative arm of government. So to say what I would do for my people, of course my people know what I can do.
Let's put on bullet points. We have SMART agenda, which is a 5-point agenda. We have 3 points from the president, 3 points. How many points, bullet points you have as a legislator? When you enter that house, what are the bills you're likely to put through for the benefit of Isoko? So we have good representation.
Yes. First of all, in terms of agenda, the agenda is a PDP, a government agenda, which of course the legislature must key in. But adding value to representation, effective representation. Effective representation to me means that when the people call, you are there. And I've said most times that I want to reduce traffic to Asaba. Anybody want to see his legislator will just board the next taxi and come to Asaba. No. We do in such a way that there will be offices, people who can entrust some certain rights and privileges to in the wards. Who, when you go there, if you don't get results immediately, that person will in turn reach me, and it will be faster than for everybody going to pay transport to Asaba to say, I want to go and see legislator for this and this. We will make constituency office more prominent and more effective in the next dispensation by God's grace when we come to office. And also, we'll try and tackle the issue of unemployment. The greatest shock I have every day I drive through Isoko roads is the number of people I see who are not employed, who are not engaged, in any way. It's a rude shock. In the last election, somebody sent me a text message that rich men cannot sleep because poor men are awake. It speaks volume. Rich men cannot sleep because poor men are awake. It speaks volume. It therefore means that if it's not good for the poor people, the rich people cannot have it their way. So I will try as much as possible to ensure that we get jobs for our people, no matter what it is. That was the area I was going to. That we have oil concerned in the area. They must look inwards to ensure that they accommodate our people's interest, the way it is done in the Shekiri, the way it is done in Ijo. So that's the way we look at it, because I also believe that government cannot take everybody off the streets.
No. Okay. Infrastructure, bills. What kind of infrastructure are you going to look into? I mean, like you talked about human capital development. You just mentioned. Is that all you're going to do in the house?
No. The house is also, when you're going to your business, your primary business is that of legislating, making laws for the betterment of your constituents, of the people of Delta State. But we add value, enabling laws for the governor also to operate, to enlarge the governor's coast, so that more things can come out from the law. Because above all, when good laws come, the people in the area and even outsiders can come and feel some sense of belonging in the area. Companies can come and grow in the area also. So I will support making good laws that will promote peace, will promote good governance, and for the government to enlarge, to accommodate people who will come to develop the private sector also.
Okay. So, Chief Ferguson, now you're in. We're all rooting for you to succeed and also to get the benefit. What are you going to be known for eventually? You know the Isoko people, they say Isoko rete base gaga. If you do wrong, Isoko man with his mouth, he will tell you as he be. So I'm saying Chief Ferguson Onwo, what will you be remembered for when you enter the house?
Yes, I will be remembered for as a legislator who stood for his people, for the betterment of his people and the state in general.
All right. In 30 seconds, this is the people. Tell them why they should vote for you.
Yes, I appeal to our people to vote for PDP, to vote for me in Saturday's election. And I promise that when they vote for me, they will get a good and better representation.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Honourable Chief AJIRIOGHENE Ferguson Onwo, for you there. What would you have to say? So much he's achieved for his people. So much he's done with his office as a councillor representing his people and as chairman of Isoko South local government, then as SSA to the former governor of the state. It's one thing to be in an elective position, is another to represent and serve the people he's meant to represent or to serve. Look at that. Honourable Chief AJIRIOGHENE Ferguson Onwo did so much with his office as local government chairman. Look at his empowerment program for the people. Look at the scholarship scheme he initiated that is still running till date. Whoa. I trust when he's elected to represent Isoko South Constituency II at the Delta State House of Assembly, he sure will meet up to his promises to his people. Well, it is on this note we'll draw the curtain on this episode of Deltascope on television. On behalf of the production team and the producer, we want to say thank you very much for watching. Do not forget, join us on our media platform handles as displayed on your screen for comments, observations, and suggestions. Until we meet again, this is your host, Onome Iyarowe, saying bye-bye.